Good morning. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center. I'm Reverend Kathy. Happy to welcome all of you today. We're an inclusive community, and whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, we welcome you. We're also part of a larger worldwide unity movement. So we're the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, we've been holding 131 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity Movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of unity. And we have a prayer chaplain today who's available for a phone call after service if you have a prayer request. And that's John Ice, and he's virtual. So will you wave to us, John? And his phone number will be in the announcements today, so you can write his number down. And if you have a prayer need, please feel free to give him a call. So welcome to everybody live, and welcome to our virtual community too. Happy to see all of you. And I can look at this little iPad right in front of me and see everybody, so it's great. So those of you who weren't here last week, welcome back to in-person. We know people will start kind of trickling back, putting their toes in a little tentatively in the beginning, but we're so happy to be here. And today I'd like to introduce Chris Italiano's our producer, as always. He's live in person. And then also our worship assistant today is Rhonda Italiano, but she happens to be virtual. She has her little daughter, Serena, is under the weather today, so she's home with her and is on screen. So that worked out. She could still be the worship assistant. So fantastic. And Chris just got the technology together, so we'll be able to hear her, which is terrific. So, and then also our musician today is Bill Mann. So let's give them, the three of them a hand. And he's going to now lead us in an opening song.
If you have your song books, it's at page 15.
No songbooks.
I'm sorry?
No songbooks. It's on screen.
I release and I let go. Let spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. I am only here for God. I no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. And I am free in the spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. I release and I let go. Let spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. I am only here for God. I am free in the spirit. I am only here for God.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone. I want to take a moment to acknowledge those of us who are here via Zoom. So if you want to wave to everybody else, we can see you. Good morning. We also want to welcome everyone who is joining the service in our building. So if you are in Coon Rapids, you can wave back at everybody. And we are so grateful to have all of us together in one service again. So thank you for making that happen. We are going to take a moment now for prayer requests. As we have been doing all along, we are going to do those silently. So if you want to take just a moment and imagine a container, and in that container, we are going to put whatever may be on your mind, whatever may be weighing on your heart. And if the answer to that is nothing, you don't have anything, then you can just add your love and your peace to the container for everyone else. So please take a moment and see that container. If you have something weighing you down, feel free to place it in that container. If you are in a great space, you're welcome to put something of a blessing in there for everyone else. Beautiful. And before we bring our prayer time to a close, I want to acknowledge Chris. In case you missed it in the chat, he is working on our sound issues. So we are still working out the bugs, and we extend our grace and our patience as Chris takes care of that. So thank you, Chris. Maintaining this prayerful energy, we are going to share today's daily word. The word for today, Sunday, September 19th, is free. Living from my divine nature frees me. Sometimes I feel limited when I don't think I have enough time, money, space, education, or experience. These thoughts can occupy so much space in my mind that I begin to think limitation is the truth of life. The greater truth is that I am free and unlimited in spirit. Alive in God, I am free to express all the love, wisdom, and strength of the divine, as only I can. What joy and liberation it is to know that nothing can separate me from my true spiritual nature. If I believe any circumstance in my life or any of my past actions obstruct or delay my spiritual progress, I now release that belief. Embracing and living from the divine presence, the Christ within me, I claim freedom from all limitation. From Acts 17:28, we read, "In him we live and move and have our being." The word for today is free. And with that, I am going to invite Bill to share a meditation song with us.
Close your eyes for meditation. Just take several deep breaths as you say to yourself, I now relax and let go. Feel that wave of relaxation move from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, saying, I am completely and totally relaxed. We are approaching the fall equinox this week, the beginning of a new season. The earth spinning and leaning away from the sun begins to cool from the summer heat. And on the first day of the season, there's a perfect balance of night and day. Just allow me to speak the words for you. Take them in as your own. I take this time to reflect on the balance in my own life. The balance between my professional and my personal life. Between work and rest. Even if I don't have a job, am I resting enough? The balance between outer activities and inner stillness. Am I meditating enough? The balance between light and darkness. Am I taking myself lightly enough? Am I willing to face my own darkness? The balance between lack and abundance. Am I thinking prosperous thoughts? And the balance between seriousness and play. Am I playing enough? Only I can determine my own balance. Through the Spirit of God within me, I am guided into a greater balance in my own life. I allow myself to experience a harvest of good in this season of autumn. A harvest of love and joy and happiness. A harvest of abundance. I take time in the silence to affirm and know that the balance I seek is beginning to take place in this very moment, in the silence. Edward Hayes writes in a fall equinox prayer, "Welcome autumn, arms full of summer's blessings, carrying the seeds of life for next year's planting. Come, enter my home with your golden wisdom, to be my guest and share my table. Welcome, old wise one. May I be your student in the school of gratitude. Guide me in reflecting upon the summer now gone, that I might give thanks for all the many gifts that have enriched me in that season of growth. I greet you, spirits of darkness that dwell in the night and within me. Now you are frightening, you are also a source of power. May I not fear you, but learn to live in holy harmony with you. Night within me, I welcome you as well. May all your spirits that reside in me live in harmony with the Spirit of the Holy." And so we say thank you, God, for the greater balance in our lives. And so it is. Amen.
Looking into my heart, looking into my eyes, looking into my life for the truth and lies. And any words to the wise. When you're searching for the answers in your life, you end up seeing more than most will ever see. But sometimes you'll find the answers are so close, you can't see the forest for the trees. But the mirror knows, the mirror shows what's hiding there inside of you and me. And the mirror will, in time, reveal the simple truth for all who choose to see. Recognize myself and those around me, friends and strangers just the same, but most of all in those whom I love dearly, when they reflect the deeper corners of my pain. But the mirror knows, the mirror shows what's hiding there inside of you and me. And the mirror will, in time, reveal the simple truth for all who choose to see. Gratitude for times when I get angry, gratitude for tears that fill my eyes, for the times I recognize the treasure hidden deep inside, and for the time it took to finally realize how the mirror has been such a gift for me. Without it, how could I have ever seen? 'Cause sometimes the truth you find is not that welcome, and it's tempting just to turn and run away. But when we finally face our fear, the doorway will appear to lead us towards a better day. And the mirror knows, the mirror shows what's hiding there inside of you and me. The mirror will, in time, reveal the simple truth for all who choose to see. Yes, the mirror knows, the mirror shows what's hiding deep inside of you and me. And the mirror will, in its own time, reveal the simple truth for all who choose to see. Yes, the mirror will, in time, reveal the simple truth for all who choose to see. Thank you.
Well, for thousands of years, planetary pilgrims have welcomed the fall equinox with fires and songs and celebrations. And this year, the fall equinox is this coming Wednesday, the 22nd, at 2:20 p.m. Central Time. So take note. See if you feel the shift. Now, most of us will feel it in the course of the changing season, but who knows? You may have that sensitivity to feel it if you pay attention. And, it heralds a season of completion, contentment, harvest, and it's also a time of balance, a time of balance. And on this coming Wednesday, day equals night, and light balances darkness. It's a time when the sun moves into Libra, the astrological sign of balance, and when all of a sudden the nights grow longer and we head toward the winter solstice. So the solstices and the equinoxes remind us of the balance of nature and its sacred rhythms. In the relentless busyness of modern life, we have lost the rhythm between work and rest. Finding that rhythm is the balancing act that each of us is engaged in, whether we are still working or whether we're retired. According to author Wayne Muller, all life requires a rhythm of rest. There's a rhythm in our waking activity and the body's need for sleep. There's a rhythm in the way day dissolves into night and night into morning. There's a rhythm as the active growth of spring and summer is quieted by the dormancy of fall and winter. There's a tidal rhythm, a deep, eternal conversation between the land and the great sea. In our bodies, the heart perceptibly rests after each heart-giving beat, each life-giving beat, rather. The lungs rest between the exhale and the inhale. But we've lost this essential rhythm. Action and accomplishment are deemed better than rest. Doing something is thought to be better than doing nothing. Our desire to succeed causes us to lose our rest and thus lose our way. Even in retirement, some work frantically just to stay busy. I titled this talk Balancing Act because this is what I've been engaged in lately. And then I realized, it's equinox weekend. And how perfect, because that's all about balance. And I've been focusing on balance between work and rest in my own life. Sometimes I could say work and play, and it's really been kind of the story of my life for the last, since I entered the ministry 31 years ago, as far as having a spiritual practice related to finding balance, and that balance between work and play and work and rest. And in many ways, when I first went into ministry, I had 2 children, small children at home. Well, they were 7 and 14 when I started, and I was a single parent. And in a lot of ways, they kept me in balance because I couldn't work all the time. And that was a good thing, because there would have been a temptation in the beginning when, you're first learning the ministry. But at the same time, there was so much juggling that went on that I found myself often in need of more rest, feeling tired. And I think balance is such an important subject in this time of great change in the world and in our own lives. We're always engaged in some kind of balancing act. We balance between self and others, between professional life or personal life, between work and rest or work and play. And this balancing is always happening amidst change. We just get it all balanced, and the cosmic forces suddenly shift everything. We're constantly dealing with the death of the old and the birth of the new, and trying to keep it all together, all balanced in the process. You know, one might think with COVID forcing us to isolate, and in many cases work at home, the balance may have become easier. I have found the absolute opposite to be true. Balancing has been more difficult for me. The boundaries have blurred. My usual days off, which I have kept very sacred through the years, have filled up with phone calls and work related to Unity North. My sleep schedule went completely out of whack. I was staying up late to all hours of the night, sleeping in. That messed with my meal times and my exercise, and it went on from there, just many aspects of my life. Anybody else ever or had the same experience through this? I see a lot of hands, yes. Well, you know, without balance, not only do we, but our community and corporate leaders can end up solving problems frantically, desperately, reactively, and badly. As Brother David Steindl-Rast said, the Chinese pictograph for busy is composed of two characters. One is heart, and the other is killing. So, you know, I served at Unity of Palo Alto, California, in the church there for a time. And when I was there, Palo Alto is in the midst of Silicon Valley, and that's between San Jose and San Francisco. And it's a place at the time they called Speed City. And it probably wasn't just strictly because of the freeway speeds, but that could have been a big part of it, because there are some freeways there where the average speed is 90 miles per hour. 90 miles per hour. And Highway Patrol does nothing, because how can you stop and arrest every other car, every other person in a car? And so it's a crazy place. It's the home of Google and all the high-tech companies. And during my time, excuse me, during my time in that church, I cannot tell you how many people I counseled who were mentally, physically, and emotionally ill from overwork and from incredibly high expectations at work, like working 60, 70 hours a week. It was the expected. And not only that, excuse me, cutthroat competition, hostile workplaces, and so on. So even now, excuse me, I need a throat lozenge. Even now, sometimes life seems like a maelstrom in which consumption and productivity have become the most valued human commodities. Sometimes it doesn't even seem like we choose it. We find ourselves in the midst of it. Like I did as a single parent, trying to juggle with children and work. Well, a mother named Janet tells of a time when it all caught up. And she said, I was exhausted after the weekend. I got up Monday morning, dragged myself out of bed, made lunch for my 8-year-old daughter, sent her off to school, and after a long day at work, came home, and she greeted me with a note from her teacher saying that she wanted to see me. And I sternly asked her, what's this all about? And she said, She opened her lunchbox, actually, and she pointed. And she pointed to the drink I had put in for her for lunch that morning. It was a can of beer. So this is funny, but it's also sad, also kind of scary. Muller suggests that the dizzying pace of the world has taken over because we've forgotten the Sabbath. So the Sabbath is our remedy for the eternal balancing act. Sabbath is a time for sacred rest. It may be a holy day. The seventh day of the week is in the Jewish tradition. The first day of the week is in the Christian tradition. But Sabbath time may also be a Sabbath afternoon, a Sabbath hour, a Sabbath walk, any sacred time that provides nourishment and rest. It's the presence of something that arises when we consecrate a period of time to listen to what is most deeply beautiful, nourishing, or true. And it's time consecrated with our attention, our mindfulness, honoring those quiet forces of grace or spirit that sustain and heal us. It said it was not Israel that kept the Sabbath. It is said the Sabbath kept Israel. So modern life is designed to seduce our attention away from this inner place of refuge. Hundreds of cable channels, cell phones, iPads, emails, Facebook, Instagram, Zoom calls, billboards, magazines, newspapers, radios. Buy me, watch me, drink me. Rabbi Levi saw a man running in the street and asked him, "Why do you run?" And he replied, "I'm running after my good fortune." And Rabbi Levi tells him, "Silly man, your good fortune has been trying to chase you. You're just running too fast." Sabbath is our refuge. It is our centering, our balance. In the book of Exodus, we read, "In 6 days, God made the heavens and the earth. And on the seventh day, God rested and was refreshed." And the word refreshed in Hebrew means, and God exhaled. And God exhaled. So the creation of the world was like the life-giving inhale, and the Sabbath is the exhale. So thus, in the beginning, all creation moves with the rhythm of the inhale and the exhale, the active masculine and the receptive feminine. Without the Sabbath exhale, the life-giving inhale is impossible. So the ancient rabbis teach that on the seventh day, God created menuha, and that is tranquility, serenity, peace, rest, in the deepest possible sense of fertile, healing stillness. Sometimes we fear rest. In Genesis, a fundamental goodness is presumed throughout the creation story. At every juncture, God acts, steps back, and rests. God invokes the light, separates it from the darkness, creating a rhythm between light and dark, and steps back and sees that it's good. Then God makes a place for heaven and earth, separates the sea from the dry land, creating a tidal rhythm, steps back, and sees that it's good. God makes the sun and the moon, steps back, sees that it's good, and on it goes. So Sabbath rest also invites us to step back and see all that is good. So if we pause in that centered place and look deeply and carefully within, even to all that's hurtful or wounded, we'll see the light shine through. We'll see the wholeness in everything. At rest, our souls are restored, and we remember our wholeness, our goodness. There was a movie some years ago called Winged Migration. It was about the migration of birds around the planet through the seasons. A beautiful film. And it had the sound of nature. And it also explained that birds, through listening to the music of the earth, can find their way home from thousands of miles away, from listening to the music of the earth. So we're blessed with these inner rhythms, and they tell us where we are and where we're going. When we stop from the 50 or 60 hour work week, the refusal to stop for lunch, the refusal to play or to listen, and return instead to the Sabbath, our natural state reasserts itself. Certain tribes of South Pacific Islanders can venture thousands of miles from their home, and with complete cloud cover, with the cover of the sun and the moon and the stars, that would normally, you would think, guide them from island to island. With none of that, they can still find their way because of the kind of waves that are under their rafts. And there's Gordon Kempton who has that kind of mindfulness. He has a very subtle quality. He calls himself a soundtracker. And he operates on this level of subtlety, earning his living by recording the vanishing sounds of nature. He was not always this way. In fact, for many years, he had a hard time even keeping himself among the living due to his inattention in a line of work that's dangerous. He was a bike messenger in downtown Seattle, you can imagine, for 7 years, and it was a way to support his true love, recording nature sounds. So after finding himself bloodied up in more than a few run-ins with automobiles, he woke up to his hearing. He said, I finally realized that these ears are hanging on the side of my head for a reason besides listening to music. He said, they're the watchdogs of my life. They're my guidance system. And I've started to listen as though my life depended on it. And so one bright sunrise, he was biking up a very steep hill, and he was struck by a call to follow dawn around the world, recording the sounds of nature. And that dream became an Emmy Award-winning PBS documentary called The Vanishing Dawn Chorus, which took him 70,000 miles around the globe, tracking, as he wrote, what he said was, a never-ending wave of birdsong that follows the rhythm of the Earth's rotation, as if the sun never stopped rising and the birds never stopped singing. How glorious. Well, Hampton now possesses what the Inuit people call sukatat. the ear of the animal. So he can listen to a recording of wind in the pines and tell you how long the pine needles are. He can hear water running underground. And he will tell you that the quiet places, including those on the inside of us, are the think tanks of the soul. So once, while tracking frogs and dripping water in Sri Lanka, he had a sudden anxiety attack just out of the blue. And he felt danger. And he thought, oh, this is just paranoia. But then Sukhatat told him otherwise. And he took off as fast as he could. He left his recording equipment behind, left it running. And when he did return and he played it back, he heard his footsteps running out of the area. And then moments later, he heard a leopard come out of the forest. So we may not become sound trackers, but we can find our silence, our Sabbath within. The late Maya Angelou shared an example of her Sabbath experience. She wrote, "We often think our affairs, great or small, must be tended continuously and in great detail, or our world will disintegrate and we will lose our places in the universe." And that is not true. If it is true, our situations were so temporary they would have collapsed anyway. So she said, once a year or so, I give myself a day away. On the eve of my day of absence, I begin to unwrap the bonds which hold me in harness. I inform housemates, my family and close friends, that I will not be reachable for 24 hours. Then I disengage the phone. I turn the radio dial to an all radio station, preferably one that plays the golden oldies. And I sit for at least an hour in a hot tub. I lay out my clothes in preparation for the morning, for my morning escape, knowing that nothing will disturb me. I sleep the sleep of the just. So in the morning I wake naturally, for I will have set no clock, nor inform my body timepiece when it should alarm. I dress in comfortable shoes, casual clothes. I leave my house going no place. If I'm living in a city, I wander streets, I window shop, I gaze at buildings, I enter and leave public parks, libraries, the lobbies of skyscrapers and movie houses. I stay in no place for very long. On the getaway day, I try for amnesia. I do not want to know my name, where I live, or how many dire responsibilities rest on my shoulders. I detest encountering even the closest friend, for then I'm reminded of who I am and the circumstances of my life, which I want to forget for a while. So every person needs to take one day away at the minimum, a day in which one consciously separates the past from the future. Jobs, lovers, family, employers, and friends can exist one day without any one of us. And if our egos permit us to confess, they could exist eternally in our absence. Each person deserves a day away in which no problems are confronted, no solutions searched for. Each of us needs to withdraw from the cares, which will not withdraw from us. We need hours of aimless wandering or spates of time sitting on park benches, observing the mysterious world of ants and the canopy of treetops. If we step away for a time, we are not, as many may think, and some will accuse, being irresponsible, but rather we are preparing ourselves to more ably perform our duties and discharge our obligations. When I return home, I'm always surprised to find some questions I sought to evade had been answered, and some entanglements I had hoped to flee had unraveled in my absence. A day away acts as a spring tonic and can dispel rancor, transform indecision, and renew the spirit. Perhaps during COVID, you've had many days away. However, there's a big difference when we think of the time as Sabbath. What are some other specific ways we can return to the Sabbath? Let me give you 7. First, find a special candle. Before a meal or a meditation, say a prayer, a blessing for yourself, and light the candle. Take a few breaths and let the hurry of the world fall away. 2, choose at least one heavily used appliance or device. Your cell phone, television, computer, washer, dryer, whatever it is, and let them rest for a Sabbath period. A Sabbath period may be a morning, an afternoon, a whole day, a weekend. Surrender to the absence of this distraction. 3, practice intentional silence. Choose a period of time or an activity such as a walk or a hike alone with someone you love when you refrain from speech, and then notice what arises. 4, leave your worries behind and enter into deep prayer and meditation. 5, take a Sabbath walk without any purpose, not even insight or revelation. Just notice whatever you're drawn to. 6, close your eyes for a moment. And I invite you to do that just right now. Close your eyes for a moment and let the mind rest in the heart. Pray a simple, short prayer. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace. Or another one, just simply, thank you, God, for this most amazing day. Or finally, thy will be done. And just take a breath and open your eyes. And the 7th one, last but not least, is play, play, play. Play without a purpose or a why. Simply play. So I invite you to pause and remember the Sabbath as we approach this new season at the fall equinox. It's the perfect opportunity. It is a time of centering, a time of setting intention, and finding balance in our own lives. In closing today, Marcia Falk writes, 3 generations back, my family had only to light a candle and the world parted. Today, Friday afternoon, I disconnect clocks and phones. When night fills my house with passages, I begin saving my life. So God bless each one of you and your balancing act. Thank you.
Well, playing works for me. If life is a mystery, where do the answers lie? Perhaps they wait to set me free. Here between the lines, the line down the center of the highway that leads me from there to here is is only recognized through opened eyes as my inner vision clears. The poet and the artist in rapture at the sight of what is rarely seen, or dancing on the edge of a razor in the middle of a sacred stream. At every turn it waits for me to choose between the day and the night, the dark and the light, where the mystery shares its clues. Life in the balance, every moment in a timeless world. And there lies the challenge of life in the balance. Subtle sigh of a siren song that only the mad ones hear is a golden gift only given to those who will face their fear. And I climb toward the top of the mountain because I've got no other choice to hear the wisdom whispering in a thundering silent voice. It's never close, but never far away, awakened from a dream. What does it mean when illusion finally fades? Life in the balance, every moment in a timeless world. There lies the challenge of life in the balance. I've been trying to understand what can't be understood. I hold it clearly in my mind, if I only could. But there are times when you just can't know, when the completely unexpected shows, and you just have to let it go and follow the flow. Life in the balance, every moment in a timeless world. And there lies the challenge of life in the balance. Each of us in a timeless world. That's the challenge of life in the balance.
That was great, Bill. Thank you so much for your music this morning. At this point in our service, we will bless our offering. So whether you are leaving an offering in the sanctuary today, or you have donated online, or you mail your check in, whatever form that takes, please hold that blessing, hold that gift in your hearts, and say the offering blessing with me, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. And with that, I will turn the mic back over to Bill for an offering song.
returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, and the universe says yes, yes, and the universe says yes.
Thank you. And please remember that you are able to donate online. So we appreciate all of those gifts. Thank you. Thank you. Community news this week. We want to make sure everyone knows that we have an 8:45 live service in the sanctuary. That's a bit more quiet and contemplative. And then we have the 10:30 service where we are available both live and via Zoom. And the Children's Church takes place at the 10:30 service. So if you would like more information about any of the events happening at Unity North, please go to the website, unitynorthmn.org. We want to welcome everyone back to live services. We are so happy to have the option to occupy our space again. So thank you, thank you. Family table drive-through meal is taking place this coming Thursday, September 23rd at 5 o'clock. If you would like to help with family table, if you want to pack up the food or serve the meals, please contact Kathleen Bailey. Her phone number is listed there, or you can also send her an email at the address listed there on the screen. Astrology in a Nutshell will be offered by Reverend Kathy on Friday, September 24th at 7 p.m. Whether you are brand new to astrology or think of yourself as a more serious student, there will be something for all at this course. So please join us for a dive into what Kathy calls this very complex subject. Our Good For You Day annual fundraiser comes back this year on Friday, September 24th, and that will continue until October 1st. This is an opportunity for us to share our healing gifts and consultations with one another. So please do check out the details on the website that are listed there on your screen. Carl is back with us, sharing the foundations of shamanic practice. The first class will be Tuesday, September 21st at 7 p.m. So we are so grateful to have Carl with us. The men's group, I understand, is going to have a virtual meeting in September, and then they will try out a new thing where they will be live on the second Thursday and virtual on the fourth Thursday. So please call Jim Cox at the number listed on your screen if you would like further information. And then I believe, unless I've been misinformed, I believe Reverend Kathy is going to lead us in the prayer for protection.
I want to say thank you to everybody today, to Chris, to Rhonda, and to our special musician, Bill. Give him all a hand. I'm grateful for my throat lozenge. It's finally worked halfway through my talk. Hopefully you could hear my Kermit voice somewhat. So anyway, let's join together now in speaking our prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now we'll join in our peace song. I just invite you to stand where you are in place.
Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
What a beautiful way to end our service. Thank you, Bill. We are hoping to be able to return to our social time, but at this point, we do not have that option available. So if you are joining us via Zoom, thank you for coming. We hope to be able to add social time back into the lineup very soon. If you are in the sanctuary physically, we do ask you to exit the building. We are not going to offer snacks quite yet. We hope to be able to do that soon as well. So thank you, everyone, and have a great week.
Can't think at the moment.
Okay.
And I'll think about it. Yeah, thanks.